Topical issues, mystery of time. This is an interesting topic because it deals with a mystery, a phenomenon that is difficult to explain. It's called time. The ancient people struggled to describe time. They struggled to keep time. Long time ago, it was either morning, noon, evening. Night time could not be kept. Some people knew a certain time, certain stars would appear. But there was no gadget for keeping time. Let's start with this phenomenon known as time. Time is a duration, a space in existence that defines a moment that existence persists. It's interesting because time goes with a duration, a happening, an existence. When the ancient people realized that, they wanted to be able to do something and to be able to repeat certain activities within a given frame of persistent existence. Persistent existence. That's what time is. So they build hour clocks using glass and sand, and it was cumbersome. You turn it, the sand was put in such a way that the measurement was, after the measurement we nowadays call an hour passes, the sand would have trickled from the upper glass through a small opening to the lower glass. And when it gets finished, you say that's an hour, you turn it over again. So it required somebody to keep tilting. It was not the same. I remember when I went to the rural area, when I was supposed to learn my mother tongue, because when I speak my mother tongue, those who know the dialects of our languages, our language has almost 15 dialects. Mine is a mixture of two dialects because I learned speaking mother tongue in two places. Today I'm going to talk about learning language and learning in a school where my mother was born, my maternal home, called a wardrobe or beddings. That's where I stayed, and there was a cow, a red cow, and I don't know why they were calling red cows were called Lando. I don't know why they were called Lando. It's not red color. So the cow was called Lando. And there was another cow, spotted cow. And we would go to school in the morning because the first year of my schooling was done from that place. I would come to my grandmother's place, Nanzala. That is her name. And then my aunts would go with me in the morning because there was no means of transport. I was small. There was an aunt who would carry me on the back because she was in the upper classes and sometimes carry me on the back. When we reach The stream that was there, she helps me cross the stream, or sometimes carries me on the back as she crosses the stream. That was the beginning. It was very interesting because by that time, that was when there were the small radios that were using ever-ready batteries, 2 batteries, small radio. And yeah, there was a radio called Sanyo, and then there was a brand called Bush. A brand called Bush, that I think was from Britain. Sanyo was Japanese. And they would put it on in the morning, and 7 o'clock, not Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. That time it was called Voice of Kenya. You would hear from the Voice of Kenya. It's now 7 o'clock. And the announcers were few. One was called Kibiego Arab Kangogo. And those were the announcers. There were others like Leonard Mambo. And that time, it's 7 o'clock. When we came after lunch, sometimes when you were lucky, because those batteries after using, because they were to be bought at the center was far. So you use for some time, and then they are removed and put out in the sun to gain energy so that you're able to listen to the news at 1 o'clock or 7 o'clock. From there, the radio would be listened to by the grown-ups now in the family. And at, was it 12 o'clock? 11 o'clock, I think, it will close with the national anthem. Then the Voice of Kenya is out of work that time. Then you could tune Voice of America, African, Swahili, or British Broadcasting Corporation, East Africa, Swahili. So that is how people are surviving that time. It was very difficult to keep time. And during the weekends, and these are the times, we would wake up. By then, that place, we didn't have a clock. We didn't have any measurement of time. It was the radio. And you could not run the radio throughout because the batteries were very precious. So during the weekend, when we would go out with the cows, you will sit and you watch the sun. And when the sun is overhead, you see your shadow is almost disappearing within where you are standing. Then we will guess that should be midday or 1 o'clock. And then when the sun was almost setting, you knew it was time to take the cows home. Otherwise, in between, you will not tell the time. You will not tell the time. And then when I finished that, I went now to where my father was. I could speak my mother tongue now fluently, because the first language I learned was Kiswahili. Now I could speak my mother tongue. And I was taken back to town, Nakuru. Then where I was staying, there was a family that was privileged. They had a big grandfather clock. That clock with the pendulum, golden colored. Then after every hour, there was a cuckoo, a bird up there. So that time that bird made, they are not a real bird, made in the form of a cuckoo. There would be a banging of the bell, an element like the bang, and then the cuckoo would do cuckoo, cuckoo. Then we knew that an hour has passed. I started now getting to regularize with time and the radio because we were in town. And things went like that until now, when there was small clocks that could be bought, they became affordable, and now people had clocks in the house. And you did not only rely on the voice of Kenya. Now we had clock, and when you went to school, there was also clock. We would learn from the clock face, and that's how things went on. So there was a small bell for ringing during the periods, class periods, and at break time, they had a metal bar, the plowshare, tied on a wire, and somebody would come, the timekeeper, with a metal bar and bang that share. Bang! So when it was banged, you knew now that is break time. When it's banged, you know it's lunchtime, and when it's banged in the evening, you know it's time to go home. That's how it operated. This thing called time did not bother us much. It only bothered us in the morning, because if you came late in the morning, it was a time of corporal punishment. You would be caned. As time went by, I came to realize that time was divided into 12 units for the day and 12 units for the night. But my father was working with the Kenya Railways. It was the East African Railways Corporation by then, not Kenya Railways. It came Kenya Railway later. And they were operating with the British time. So my father would talk of 22 hours, 14 hours, and these were strange things, because we'd been taught time is divided into 12 units. It's 1 to 12, and then it starts 1 to 12. And now you are being told 22 hours, 20 hours, and the train will be departing at 22 hours, at 20 hours, at 18 hours. And I kept wondering, what is this 18 hours? Later I learned to convert the time, and everything was okay. As I interacted with people, because we would get visitations in our schools with people from abroad, others from Europe, others from America, they would visit us, bring us some books, bring us some, others who wanted just to see the African children in their classes, where we would go barefoot. Even if you were privileged to have a pair of shoes, you would not go with a pair of shoes. It was comfortable walking barefoot. So we used to go to school barefoot. It was only, there were 3 schools in our town that it was compulsory to put on shoes, because one belonged to children of European origin, Kenyans of that origin, another one of Asian origin, and there was another one also of people who were highly placed in our society. So those ones were supposed to put on uniform, put on the sweaters and a tie, but with us, we would go to school barefoot. You just wash, because by then people are not, it was either Vaseline you would apply, or you bathe. After bathing, you make lather with the soap. That's why I used to wonder, why was it that after applying soap now you have bathed, and then you apply soap lather and make sure it vanishes all over. You will be shiny, like you have applied Vaseline or you have applied lotion. So it's only later that I learned that soap is made from fat. I could not understand this thing. You bathe with soap, it removes that, and then you apply soap lather and you are shiny. During these visitations, we started learning something of the midnight hour, the land of the midnight sun. There was a time when some people from Norway visited us and they were telling us about their country. And they told us about Lapland, the place where Santa Claus comes. Then they would tell us about the rainbow with the red nose. And they told us our country is a country of the midnight sun. And we were wondering, what do you mean midnight sun? Because we could not comprehend. Then later, when I learned geography, because in our early classes we had to learn geography, by mid-primary school, we done geography of, they used to call them new lands. We do North America, South America, Australia, and New Zealand. And then from there you will commence on old lands. You will do the whole of Europe. And then now, when we were nearing the exam classes, we will cover East Africa and the whole of Africa. And then you do your exam, ready to go to secondary. So by the time we were going to secondary school, we knew the geography of the whole world. So when that was happening, I came to realize that the earth tilts on its axis, and also read from the books when I followed up what these people from the land of the midnight sun had come to tell us, and realized on this very earth, that's why there are 24 hours. There are some places where when the earth is tilted, they have daytime for 3 months. 3 months. You wake up in the morning, in the daytime. You sleep in the daytime. You wake up in the daytime. You sleep in the daytime. And when winter comes, when the earth has tilted the other side, you have 3 months of darkness. You wake up in the dark and you tell somebody good morning. And then you tell somebody good night in the dark. And then in the morning, when the aurora, the light from the sun is being reflected, that's the only thing you see. An interesting display of colors in the morning. And then you say good morning. And then you walk in the night, do everything in the night. And then again tell somebody good night. And if it is daytime, the same happens. I happened to be privileged when I went to Nairobi to the college that was teaching us about special children, Kenya Institute of Special Education. That time we had some ladies from Tanzania. They were working in Tanzania and they had visited Europe, and they were talking of how they had problem in the summer because they had to put curtains, make something appear like there is darkness so that you can sleep, and then you wake up, it's still daytime. And you wake up again, you sleep at daytime, you wake up at daytime. So I came to realize what we'd learned was real. That is the earth. Then came this phenomenon. This one was when I listened to Martin Luther King of America, Alabama, and he was talking of the future. He's a guy who will see the future because he saw a black president ruling America, where he will not be looked at by his color, but by his intelligence. And that one happened to be somebody whose ancestral land also we were privileged. It was Kenya. He was talking about advancement in technology and opening up the world to the people. That time I could not understand. Then he was talking of, nowadays people have advanced technology has advanced. You can talk to somebody tomorrow and he answers you yesterday. And it looked funny. How can you talk to somebody tomorrow and he answers you yesterday? When I pursued geography, that's when I came to realize that one is happening on Earth. That's why time is a very interesting phenomenon. Let's say people in Christmas Island are experiencing their tomorrow. And you are someplace like Africa. So after midnight, he's experiencing the next day. So you are today, like today is Wednesday, or it's Thursday morning. So some people have gone to Friday. So when you ring him this Thursday morning and he's gone to Friday, he will tell you on Friday, how are you? And you are calling him on Thursday, hello, because telephone call goes at the speed of light, you're able to converse instantly. So he's talking to you on Friday, and you here are talking to him on Thursday. Can't you see? You are talking to him tomorrow, and he's talking to you yesterday. Because he finished that day. It's on Friday. And you are ringing him from here on Thursday. So it is correct to say, you called him tomorrow, and he received yesterday's call to him, that particular moment. And you are discussing tomorrow and yesterday. Phenomenon of time on this very planet. And I think you have realized that when the New Year is being celebrated. Some people celebrate the New Year. When they have finished the New Year, they are on second. Some other people are now experiencing the New Year. So they are celebrating their fast. These ones are already through with the New Year. They're thinking of other resolutions. These are, that is time. Going with the rotation of the planet. The length of time it takes and the way the earth is formed. So on this earth, if you have relatives far, you will talk to them yesterday and they will receive your call today where they are. So to them, they are talking to you today. It is there today. But you are calling them yesterday. But then if somebody stays from the other far part past that, then you will not call him his today. You will call him tomorrow. So you are talking to him tomorrow. The day has not reached you. And he is calling you in the past. That is the mystery of time on this planet. But the greatest mystery was that one of daytime for 3 months. Good morning, daytime. Good evening, daytime. Then things change. Good morning, nighttime. Good evening, nighttime. Good morning again for 3 months. Mysteries of time. That persistence, that existence. That persistence exists. Then I started wondering, these people who go to the moon, and they were telling us of the earth rising. Just the way we see the moon when you're on Earth. You see the Earth like you see the moon above you when you are on the moon. That is the Earth shining you on the moon. And I wondered, how long is the moon's day? And I was surprised. The moon is tidally locked. They are in a tidal lock with the Earth. So from when we are born to when we shall die, we are only seeing one side of the moon. It rotates slowly. But the formation is such that when the Earth is rotating and moving, and they are moving also, we are only able to see one side because it's tidally locked. Then I wondered, how long does daytime take on the moon? I didn't know why. After 29 days, we say 1 month. To my surprise, it is that a day on the moon takes 2 weeks. So when you are on the side experiencing the day, unless you are using Earth time, on the moon, this time is not applicable. Because your morning is from today until after 2 weeks. Then now your evening begins. And that night goes for another 2 weeks. So that time it's even very cold on that side. Temperature falling up to about negative 200 and something degrees. So the moon day lasts for around 29 days. That is the moon morning and the moon night. So when we say it is 1 month, our 1 month is 1 day to the moon. One day to the moon. Interesting. This phenomenon called time, this persistence that causes a certain phenomenon to exist within that duration. And if you think that is perplexing, then now let's take on other planets. A planet called Mercury takes 4,000 hours to finish 1 day. And because it goes faster around the sun, I think, is it the one or the Venus that the day is longer than? Venus is 5,000. Yeah, I think it's Venus. The day and the night is almost the same because it almost makes a rotation around the sun during its day. So its day is almost as long as the year. But for Venus, its day is longer than its year. So the time it will take to go around the sun may be the time it has taken to revolve in one place. So, unlike us, who talk of a day being 24 hours, a day and a night, on Venus, its day is longer than its year. This phenomenon called time. The only planet that is privileged to be almost equivalent to us in time is our neighboring planet on the way to Jupiter, Mars. because Earth rotates for 24 hours, Mars goes for around 25 point something hours. So the days are almost similar because Mars day exists 1 hour longer, 1 hour and some minutes longer than the Earth day. So if we talked of time, these are the only two planets that we would talk of time the way we know it. On these other planets is interesting. Now let's go to a big planet like Jupiter. Instead of a longer time, it gives you around 17 hours and its day is over. Their night gone round. And there are some places where time does not move. So there are planets that have fallen on their axis. That's why the moon plays a very important role. It keeps our pole and our axis and whatever moving like a gyroscope, so that we are able to experience winter and summer, day and night, with very little variations in time. There are other planets which have fallen and they are now rotating on their side like a ball. So one side is permanently day and one side is permanently night. So if you're on that planet, this phenomenon known as time would not exist the way we know it. You will not be able to measure it the way we do. Those who have studied the black holes say there is no time. Everything is stagnant like that. You can't measure anything that is called time. Time stops. These are the explanation of that existence in persistence of an occurrence. So when we count time on Earth, we may be a few privileged who have constant time. You can do your things within measured units, and within 12 hours we'll have daytime, and another 12 hours we'll have nighttime. If you belong to the poles where daytime sometimes persists for 3 months, you can still use the measurement that other people are using. So the sun is shining but it's midnight, and the sun is shining and it is midday. You can use these other measurements. And that's why it becomes difficult when people go to space. The few astronauts who have been going there, the aging process changes. It's like it is speeded up. And many things start happening that don't normally happen on this planet, where the gravity is the way it is, the atmospheric pressure is the way it is, and the rotation and the time is almost constant. That's why I wanted us to share this phenomenon and to thank God for you and us, that this planet, Mother Earth, has unique things that are not there on other planets, and they are there for our protection, for our sustenance, for our good, for our protection. That is the mystery of time. It's longer, but I think I'll have to stop at this juncture. That's my take for now.